In Melissa Michelson, Professor of Political Science at Menlo College in California. Thank you for talking to us this evening here on France 24. Now, there's frequently, I think, a honeymoon period for a newly installed president. But as we know well here in France, that usually doesn't last long. And it's highly unlikely to last long for Joe Biden with the current challenges that he's facing. What would you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, everyone comes in with high hopes. Even if you didn't vote for the president, you think, okay, well, a lot of people voted for this president. Maybe it's going to be great. Maybe he's going to make good decisions. And so they get that little boost of support. But as soon as they start making decisions, and that includes making executive orders, you start to disappoint people. You tend to upset people. And so, it's on the one hand, very exciting that Biden is taking all these actions very early on his first 2 days, but it also means that every decision he makes, especially the controversial ones, and for some people, asking everyone to wear a mask is controversial, the honeymoon period gets shorter.
Now, as we've been seeing and hearing a lot of over the last couple of days, America is deeply, deeply fractured. You had 74 million people voting for Donald Trump. You had 81 million people for Joe Biden, and really polarized candidacies, polarized visions of America. And Joe Biden has been really, I think, utterly torn apart and discredited in the eyes of Trump supporters. Is it possible for him to win any of them over?
Well, it depends. On the one hand, if they see that things are getting better in their own lives, then they might change their opinions of him, right? And so if the country starts opening up, the economy starts to get better, their kids are back at school, you could see some Republicans, some Trump supporters thinking, oh, maybe maybe he's not so bad. So it remains to be seen, but definitely there's a huge core of the Republican Party that remains loyal to Donald Trump. There was a survey the other day that said 40% of them hope that he's the nominee in 2024. And so for those 40%, there's probably nothing Biden can do or nothing that can happen that's going to change their minds about what's wrong with Biden being president and what a horrible person he is. Because we are very polarized now.
And what about the path forward for Donald Trump? Donald Trump's, I suppose, political current, Trumpism, if you like. He may be made ineligible, rather, for public office. We'll be seeing a report on that a little bit later. But his ideas will surely continue to hold sway. And as I was saying earlier, I mean, these are two visions of America that are pretty much irreconcilable. Are we dealing with two incompatible visions of the United States right now? Two very strong incompatible visions.
I think we are, because Biden's America, he got rid of the Muslim ban. He's working to regularize the status of immigrants who are here without documentation. He's putting back the Spanish language websites on the U.S. government websites. And that's a very different America than Trump's America, which was very nationalistic and was very much about closing borders and restricting immigrants and refugees and asylum seekers. And those two visions of America are incompatible. And so I think at the very core, you really can't bring those two groups together. What remains to be seen is whether it's Trump or a Trump child or a Trumpy person, maybe Ted Cruz, who comes along and runs for president and tries to run the Republican Party. What remains to be seen is whether there are enough people to bring back that sort of person into the White House, or whether the Republican Party regroups now. And I think that remains to be decided based on, does Trump get declared removed from office post leaving office? Does he get indicted? Is he found guilty of any of the crimes that he's going to probably be prosecuted for? And how does his legacy kind of settle in after a few years?
All right, we have a report coming up on exactly that. Thank you for your thoughts, Melissa Michelson, from Professor